what's happening around the world and what's happening here at home. A very good evening to and welcome to Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Campaigning for the presidential election ends at midnight. Presidential candidates engage in final campaign rallies. Ranil in Grand Pass, Sazit in Maradana, Anura in Nugegota, Namal in Piliyandala. Restructuring of ISBs to be finalized tomorrow. Sri Lanka to embark on a new path from the 22nd, says Ranil. Ranil Anura political cabal ends on the 21st. A statement from Sazit. A journey of many miles begins after the 21st. An assurance from Anura. Probe launched into the leak of scholarship paper. Examinations chief reveals next steps if solutions aren't satisfactory.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of...
Campaign activities related to the 2024 presidential election will conclude at midnight today, and the final public rallies of the main presidential candidates for this election are currently underway. The final rallies of the main presidential candidates are currently underway across several parts of Sri Lanka, and the final rally of the independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe is being held in Grand Pass, Colombo. Sajit Premadasa, the presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Bala Vega, is holding his final rally in Maradana. Anura Kumar Disanayake, the presidential candidate of the National People's Power, is holding his final rally in Nugegoda. And Nama Rajapaksa, the presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna, is currently conducting his final rally in Piliyandala. We will also bring you details of other rallies and public meetings of the other presidential candidates on our bulletin. Meanwhile, independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe said that discussions will take place tomorrow with the bondholders, and after these discussions, Sri Lanka will begin a new chapter on September 22nd, emerging from bankruptcy.
A public rally organized in support of Ranil Wickremesinghe's candidacy took place today at the Uyan Matha Stadium in Mathura.
ජනතාව මාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරපු අවස්ථාවේ මන් තීරණය කළා මට ජනතාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරන්න බෑ කියලා. ජනතාව පිළිගත්තේ ජනතාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරාට ජනතාව ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරපු මම මගේ යුතුයකම.
When the people rejected me, I decided that I cannot reject the people. The people did not accept me, but I had a duty as a leader of the country to confront the challenges on behalf of the people. What we are addressing is a country that has declared bankruptcy. Our creditors are the bondholders of a country that has turned away from us. After completing this 2-year program, we have now reached an agreement with the IMF, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank regarding our debt sustainability and to lift our status of bankruptcy, granting us the opportunity to develop. The second group consists of the countries that lent us money. We have been in discussions with 18 countries, reaching agreements with China and the 17 other countries. We are creating new mechanisms to ensure that we will not face bankruptcy again and to foster development within our country. We have 2 agreements remaining to finalize with private bondholders. Tomorrow, once decisions are made with them, we will completely conclude these tasks and Sri Lanka will emerge from bankruptcy, allowing those countries to assist us once again. I can tell you by the 21st of September that we will have completed the first part of this process. After that, we will be ready to embark on a new journey from the 22nd.
අපි පුද්ගලික බැඳුම් කරුවන් සමග ගිවිසුම් වලට ආවයන් පස්සේ එහෙනම් අපි 22 වෙනිදා ඉඳන් අලුත් ගමනක් යන්න ලෑස්ති වෙමු.
Others supporting Ranil Wickremesinghe also spoke at the rally.
The leaders speaking on stage are saying that we will be back on the streets based on a certain basis. Trust must not be compromised. Today's tourism sector is thriving on trust. There are no issues in the country. If we descend into another crisis, those investors will not return. We would lose revenue and jobs, and our export economy is reliant on trust. If trust is undermined again, those who place orders will be apprehensive, adversely affecting the country. This has happened before. And if the economy collapses in this manner, we cannot afford to retreat. We must advance forward. We cannot allow ourselves to collapse again.
පූරු දබලක් ඉන්නවා සජිත් රාජපක්ෂයි නාමල් ප්‍රේමදාසයි දෙන්න නියම පියානෝ වාදකයෝ.
There are remarkable talents like Sajid Premadasa and Namal Rajapaksa. Both are exceptional piano players. We are aware of Sajid's ability. Even though Namal has not been close to us, it is evident that he is striving for his legacy. I want to understand the agreement Sajid has with Hiru TV. That information needs to be disclosed. They have limited time to clarify what this deal entails. He claims that there are no deals in my politics. May God bless those with him.
මොකද්ද මේ ඩීල් එක කියලා අපි දරගන්නට ඕනේ. එතුමා මගේ දේශපාලනේ ඩීල් නැහැ කියනවා. අනේ දෙයියනේ ඔය එතුමා පස්සෙන් ඉන්න අයටත් දෙයියන්ගේම පිහිටයි.
Final countdown.
Today, President Ranil Wickremesinghe is ready to take charge of this country and elevate it as one of the leading nations in Asia, which foreign powers may not appreciate. We need to work carefully. That's why I said to look at the list. Is there anyone that can compete against Ranil on this list? Can those who broke away from us lead a country?
රනිල් මහත්තයට ගැලපෙන කවුරු හරි මේ ලැයිස්තුවේ තරග භූමියේ ඉන්නවද කියලා. අර ඉන්නවා අපෙන් කැඩිලා ගියා කුක්කු බබා. එයාට රටක් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? දොස්තර මහත්තයාගේ වැඩේ හොඳට කරනවා.
The doctor's work is progressing well. The economy is recovering. At this moment, we would like to know if you are going to change the doctor. Therefore, we say this. During difficult times, those who created problems, conspired and stayed until the country collapsed must be patient. Your time will come. Now is the time for Ranil Wickremesinghe. We all need to unite and support him. Sajid Premadasa now has a deal. What is it? The person who always claimed the government couldn't take over because the Rajapaksas were in power has now struck a secret deal with Namal Rajapaksa. That deal is to defeat Ranil Wickremesinghe. Today, Namal Rajapaksa and Sajid Premadasa have come together for this deal. Do you see Sajid Premadasa saying anything against the Rajapaksas? Does Namal say anything against Sajid? No, that's the deal. Understand this.
අන්න ඩීල් එක මේක තේරුම් ගන්න.
අපි හැම එක්කෙනාට සමට තිත්ත බේත් ගන්න සිදු වෙනවා. ඒකයි මට කරන්න සිදු වුණේ. ඒකෙන් අපි ශක්තිමත් වෙනවා.
Sometimes we have to make difficult decisions. That's what I had to do. Because of that, we have become stronger. This country needs a new economic framework. Are we a nation that is falling behind? Are we going back to falling behind? We need to hold on. We must have self-esteem. That's why I say we are moving forward with these agreements. What do my opponents say? What does Anur Kumara say? What does Sajid say? They say they are going to cancel these agreements and seek new loan arrangements. That won't happen. The IMF's director in July said that we are not going to change these agreements. In 2 weeks after the elections, we will finalize these agreements. Then we will declare that the bankruptcy situation is over. But if they come and we say no, we are going to pursue something new. What will happen? The agreement is over. The funding is over. The value of the rupee against the dollar will rise to 500 rupees. What does Anur Kumar Dissanayake have to say? The former minister, can this be resolved? He claims that the economy has improved under my leadership. So what would bring him here? There is no point in giving it to him. I'll do it myself. He said that he will leave in 1.5 years if he isn't able to do his job. This means he can't do it.
කිව්වා අවුරුදු එකමාරක් කළා බැරි නම් දීලා යනවා කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක කරන්න බෑ කියනවා.
A public rally of the Samagi Jana Balavega's presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa was held in Ambalangoda today.
Magirate balagan wannata sarasen diunuwa yali kandannata sarasen samagiya balagan waniti sarasen Sri Lanka vamadiriyen sarasen Magirate balagan wannata sarasen diunuwa yali kandannata sarasen
තමුන්නාසල දන්නවා මේ රට දූෂණය විනාශය කියන එක මේක දැන් හැම තැනම
Our country is grappling with deep-seated corruption and destruction. In the government we are forming, our goal is to not only to combat corruption while rebuilding the country, but also to establish a system that prevents corruption from returning in the future. This is the core demand of the Aragalaya. We will introduce that system to this country very soon. There are currently 3 key groups in play. I have respect for Ranil Wickremesinghe as my former Prime Minister and will not speak ill of him. However, he is aligned with the same team that contributed to the country's past destruction and economic decline. It's not just about the leader. If the team remains the same, we cannot expect different outcomes. Anrukumara Disanayake has no real team or leadership. It's like naming an under-12 side for a World Cup. We can't afford to conduct such experiments again.
12න් 15 කණ්ඩායමක් අපි ලෝක කුසලානයකට ගහනවා වගේ. ඉතින් මෙවැනි අත්හැදා බැලීම් නම් අද නැවත වරක් අපිට කරන්න බෑ.
එකයි කියන්න තියෙන්නේ. තව පැය 72ක්.
I have one thing to say. In 72 hours, Sajith Premadasa's era for the common people will begin. I confidently say that he will win all 10 seats in the Galle district and will be sworn in as president. Just wait and see the kind of visionary leader who will be at the helm of this country in 72 hours. This crowd is here to make Sajith Premadasa the president, the friend of the common people and the son of the Ranasinghe Premadasa, dedicated to empowering those in need.
ගංගාවද මෙතෙන්ට ඇවිත් ඉන්නේ. ජයග්‍රහණයත් සමග රටේ අමාරු වැඩ කොටස එනවා. ඒ තමයි රට ගොඩ නැගීම, රට සංවර්ධනය කිරීම.
With victory comes the responsibility of hard work, building the country, fostering development and bringing healing and prosperity to our suffering people. We will support the fishing community with fuel subsidies, recognizing the rising cost of fishing gear and boats. Our goal is to transform the fishing industry into a smart, sustainable sector. We can elevate Ceylon cinnamon, the world's premier brand, while enhancing tea and paddy cultivation in the Galle district. We will deliver justice for those sons and daughters who face the scholarship exam. You will experience an era of development and prosperity for all.
ඔබට සංවර්ධන යුගයක් උදා කරනවා. සමට සෞභාග්‍ය බිහි කරනවා.
Final countdown.
Another public rally organised by the Samagi Jan Balawegaya in support of presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa was held today in Ambedipitiya.
Sri Lanka vamadiriyen sarasen
Facebook එකට වඩා ඈතින් ඇත්ත ලෝකයක් තියෙන බව.
People are beginning to understand that there is a real world beyond Facebook. A president might emerge on TikTok or Facebook. However, on the 21st, when you are watching TV, remember that the president of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka is going to be Sajith Premadasa.
ප්‍රේමදාස කියලා කියලා එක තමුන්නාසල මතක තියාගන්න. සැප්තැම්බර් මාසේ 21 වෙනිදා වැඩ 3ක් වෙනවා. එකක් අවුරුදු 30කට පස්සේ.
On the 21st of September, 3 significant things will happen. One is that after 30 years, a true leader of the UNP will emerge. That will be Sajith Premadasa. Another thing will happen. On the 21st of September, the virus that has been destroying the UNP for 30 years will come to light. The political journey of Ranil Wickremesinghe will come to an end. It's not just that. The culture of the JVP will also reach its end. On the 21st of September, we will conduct a major campaign to make Sajith Premadasa win and the JVP will be brought down.
ප්‍රේමදාස දිනවලා මාලිමාව පරාජයට පත් කරමු. රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්තයා කියනවා පුළුවන්ලු. එයාගේ ගෝලයා අනුරුකුමාර දිසානායක කියනවා ඔව් ඉතින් රනිල් බොස.
Ranil Wickremesinghe says he can. His assistant Anrukumara Disanayake says, if Ranil can do it, so can I. However, I want to ask Ranil Wickremesinghe, why couldn't you conduct the scholarship exam properly? The question paper leaked. So, I want to ask Ranil Wickremesinghe, why are these papers leaking? What is happening? Look into this too. I'm asking Anrukumara Disanayake, who leaked the question paper? From which area in the northwestern province? From which district? Which party does the person who leaked it belong to? I am asking Anrukumara Disanayake to see if he can answer those questions. The assistant who leaked it and those responsible are now partners. It has become a political alliance. But remember, I want to say this at the moment, that this marriage will lead to a divorce on the 21st.
තලෙන් මේ දීගය දික්කසාද වෙනවයි කියන එක මම මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්න කැමතියි.
Final countdown.
During another public rally held in Monaragala today, presidential candidate Sajid Premadasa said that intelligence reports indicate he will win by a margin of over 200,000 votes.
මගේ අත බලගන්වන්නට සැරසෙන් දියුණුව යලි කැන්දන්නට සැරසෙන් සමගිය බලගන්වා නිති සැරසෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවම දිරියෙන් සැරසෙන්
එක්කෝ අපි සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා
We need to move forward with Sajid Premadasa, uniting our country with the world to create a modern economy, a place where people can live with hope and love. Otherwise, if we choose the alternatives, we risk creating a failing economy that doesn't move us forward. We have a leader. There's a team for our leader. That team has a plan and it has a time frame. What we need is your blessings this Saturday.
අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ ඔබලාගේ ආශිර්වාදය පමණයි සෙනසුරාදා.
අපි කියනවා රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ තමුන්නාන්සේට ටැංකිය විතරයි ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ. ටැංකිය රනිල් ගෙදර යමු කියලා අපි කියනවා. නාමල් බේබි ගැන කියලා වැඩක් නැහැ. නාමල් බේබිට සෙල්ලම් බඩු ටිකක් යවමු සෙල්ලම් කරන්න.
Let's send Ranil home. We have nothing to say about Namal baby. Let's send him a few toys to play with. On the 22nd, we will need to find out where Andrukumar Disanayaka is. We say that after the 21st, we will take action to restore ownership of the lands that have been taken from you.
බුද්ධියංශ වාර්තා අනුව අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ලක්ෂ 20ක වැඩි ඡන්ද ප්‍රමාණයකින් ජයග්‍රහණය කරනවා.
According to intelligence reports, we will definitely win by more than 200,000 votes. The political duo contesting against me, Ranil Wickremesinghe and Andrukumara Disanayaka, are behind. After obtaining blessings from the temple of the sacred tooth relic, I have initiated this election campaign. I believe that the president of this country will be Sajid Premadasa. Our victory is certain. I ask everyone, especially the people of Sri Lanka, to embrace peace. Do not resort to violence. Extremism is not the policy of the Samagi Jana Balavegaya. Enjoy a peaceful victory and prepare for nation building from that moment on. Do not harm anyone who holds an opposing view. In 6 months, we will completely eradicate drugs, organized crime and violence. I urge everyone associated with the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, the National People's Power, the UNP and all other parties, in these final moments, do not waste your vote. Give it to the telephone.
සියලුම දෙනාගෙන් මම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා. මේ අවසාන මොහොතේ හරි ඔබගේ ඡන්දය නාස්ති කරන්න එපා. දුරකථනයට දෙන්න.
Presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Andrukumara Disanayaka, said the era beginning after the September 21st marks the start of a long journey for the country.
A public rally, a part of Dinuma Ratata Rata Anurata series of public rallies, was held in Kalutara today.
අද ජාතික ජන බලවේගයේ වටා ඒකරාශී වෙලා ඉන්න ජනතාව කලකිරීම නිසා කෝපය නිසා නෙවෙයි අනාගතයේ අපේක්ෂාව සහ බලාපොරොත්තු නිසා තමයි අද ජනතාව අපි වටා ඒකරාශී වෙලා තිබෙන්නේ.
The people gathered around the National People's Power today are not driven by frustration or anger. They come together out of hope and expectation for a better future. Millions are united with the shared vision of realizing a brighter tomorrow. We understand that this is just a first step in a long journey ahead. The 21st of September marks the beginning of many significant strides for our country. We had some doubts that victory could come solely from the south. A win from the south alone is insufficient to achieve our future political goals. Initially, we thought that there would be no political engagement in the east and north, but recently we visited the east. We have seen the Muslim community also gather in hope and join the National People's Power. The Tamil community in the north has shown respect for the National People's Power. When I asked a Tamil parliamentarian about the status of postal voting in the north, he estimated it would be around 10%. However, he expressed confident that after the voting process, postal votes could exceed 40%. The National People's Power has successfully united politics across the north, south and east. Ranil Wickremesinghe claims that when the National People's Power comes into power, there will be no gas. Does that mean he is the owner of the energy sector? He also said that fuel will disappear when we take office. Does he think he is the Sultan of Arabia? Let's remember the reality. Ranil Wickremesinghe is the architect behind the fuel crisis, leading to shortages of gas and milk powder. Poor Gotabaya became the scapegoat in that situation. That is the true story. Approximately $1,550 million were borrowed from international sovereign bonds. Mahinda took $300 million from this, which was already paid back by 2021. In contrast, Ranil borrowed $1,250 million from the international money market at interest rates of 6 to 7% to be repaid over 5 to 10 years. This debt remains unpaid, making Ranil Wickremesinghe the creator of the current crisis. Therefore, we assert that the National People's Power will form a government committed to providing essential goods to the people continuously at reasonable prices and with quality. The National People's Power government will turn this situation around. We will implement a new economic policy aimed at reversing the flow of dollars into the country and adopting strategies to prevent dollars from flowing out. Ranil Wickremesinghe, it's enough that you have already destroyed this country. Please step aside. On the 21st, we need to transfer power to the National People's Power so we can begin rebuilding. This marks the start of a new journey and we invite everyone to be a part of this effort.
ජාතික ජන බලවේගය අතර බලය මාරු කරගත යුතුමයි. එනිසා අපි අලුත් ගමනකට මේ මුර පුරන්නේ. එනිසා අපි හැමදෙනාගේ මිල්ලා හිටින්නේ මේකේ කොටස්කරුවෝ වන්න.
අනුර කුමාර පුතණුවන්ට කන්නාරතේ රංගා වගේ දැන් හාමුදුරුවෝ කීප දෙනෙක් ගහනවා. බලන්න පුරුදු කියලා. 3-4 දෙනෙක් ගහනවා. රංගපානවා. hina වෙනවා. ඔච්චම් කරනවා. අවලාද කරනවා. ඒ රංගිට
Anru Kumara is currently being attacked by a few monks. They are mocking and insulting him. However, I want to remind everyone that Anru Kumara Disanayake and his followers will never be implicated in such scams. This is an era of deceit where people are being misled. We must uphold a secular state. And there are claims that this order threatens to destroy the Buddha's teachings, churches and kovils. I challenge anyone to provide evidence of such statements by Anru Kumara Disanayake or the organizing committee. If they can, let them show it. There's nothing to back these claims. During the next 2 days, the 19th and the 20th, our opposition groups may spread significant misconceptions across the country, making false claims that could circulate widely. Stay alert to the misleading messages and lies that may emerge on social media platforms like WhatsApp. If Ranil Wickremesinghe had truly stabilized the economy, it wouldn't collapse in just 2 weeks. The reality is that the country has not been stabilized and it will not fall apart within 2 weeks after we come to power. So, both of these assertions are false. Now they're spreading news about a gas and fuel shortage. In Katukastota, a group of 10 to 12 people have been paid to queue up for fuel, not to actually buy it, but to create the illusion of scarcity. People passing by see these queues and think there's a real shortage. This is an artificial tactic meant to scare the public as the election approaches. If there truly is a shortage, we should take action against this deception tomorrow, not wait until the 21st. We do not need to tolerate such people.
The second rally of the Dinama Rata Anurata series on the final day of campaigning, organised in support of presidential candidate Anru Kumara Disanayake, was held in Gampaha today.
When we started the election campaign, many people asked how it was possible to reach 50% from 3%. But now within this month, the percentage has increased to over 60%. This is the message we want to send to the whole world. We have no deals. There is no corruption or malfeasance here. No drug traffickers, no extortionists. So we have nothing to lose. Our deal is with the people of this country. On the 21st, we will secure that deal with the people. As soon as that official announcement came, the power will be with Anru Kumara Disanayake. The first thing that can happen is for Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena to submit a letter of resignation. He can choose to step down. As he leaves, all the remaining cabinet ministers including Nimal Siripala and Prasanna Ranatunga will also go home. Everyone will go home. Prasanna will go home. Siripala will go home. Mahinda Amaravira will also go home. Everyone will go home. Once Anru takes the oath as president, the parliamentary seats will be empty. then we will be left with just 2. The Election Commission will immediately issue the gazette. The next candidate on the list in the Colombo district will be appointed as a member of parliament. The gazette will be issued. Then there will be 3. Anru will be the president, we will be 4, and the old cabinet will be dissolved. There will be 4 of us. The president will be there. For 2 months, we will manage this country as 4.
මේ රට පාලනය කරන්න මාස දෙකකට අපි 4 දෙනා වැඩිත් එක්ක
Presidential candidate author Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa said that he takes on the responsibility of creating an economy in which every individual can stand independently rather than relying on political favors.
A rally in support of Namal Rajapaksa's candidacy took place today in Matugama in the Kalutara district.
ජාතික සම්පත් කුණු කොල්ලට විකුණන්න අපි ඉඩ තියන්නේ නැහැ කියන එකත් අපි එයාට මතක් කරලා දෙනවා.
We will not let them sell our national assets. We will develop them. We will bring in investors and create new job opportunities at airports and ports. We will ensure that people from rural communities also benefit from the growing tourism sector. We trust farmers more than businessmen in the export sector. The Rajapaksa government has always protected the farming community, and we will continue to do the same. Our goal is to increase GDP while ensuring farmers in our country are protected. We will not let a single child in Sri Lanka starve. We will develop an economy that ensures people are not starving, and I will take the necessary steps to achieve that. I will not make false promises. I will not say we will give every household 20,000 or 5,000 rupees. However, I will take responsibility to ensure that we build a strong economy so that no one will have to wait for a politician to help them out.
දෙපැයින් හම්බු කරලා හොඳට ජීවත් වෙන්න පුළුවන් පරිසරයක් වටක් හදන වගකීම මම බාර ගන්නවායි කියන එකත් මම ඔබ තමුන්නාසෙලාට කියනවා.
සමහර මිනිස්සු අපෙන් අහනවා නාමල් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා අයින් වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ රනිල්ට දිනන්න අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්නේ නැද්ද කියලා.
Some people are asking us whether Namal will step aside to give Ranil a chance to win. Because when Namal came forward, we knew those who were around us had left to stand with Ranil Wickremesinghe. They look at Namal as if he is young, but he does not look young to us. Don't take back those who left us. I am sure about Namal, not about our former president. His heart warms up soon. Sometimes he says he might take them back. Sometimes he says he won't. Namal Rajapaksa is clearly stating he will close that saloon door after this election, so you don't have to fear.
නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මේ සැලුන් දොර වහලා දානවා මේ ඡන්දෙන් පස්සේ කියන එක පැහැදිලිව කියනවා. ඒක නිසා ඔබලා බය නැතුව ඉන්න.
අනුර කියනවා නම් කෝටාබේ බෙල්ල තිබ්බේ රනිල්ගේ යහපාල ආණ්ඩුවේ ගත්ත ණය නිසා කියලා.
If Anura says that Gotabaya got into trouble due to the loans taken by Ranil's good governance government, then Anura must also take responsibility for those loans. Now, he shouldn't say that. He is also making unnecessary statements. These people aren't capable of building a nation. If they had a brain, skills, experience and dedication, it was only during Mahinda's era that they worked out of love for the motherland. The others caused ruin.
වැඩ කරුවේ මහින්ද මහත්තයාගේ යුගයේ පමණයි කියන එක අපි මතක් කරනවා. අනිත් අය කරුවේ විනාශය.
Final countdown.
Speaking at a public rally in Tissamaharama, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna presidential candidate Namal Rajapaksa said that those making false accusations against him must file cases in court instead of making baseless allegations. Leader of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna former President Mahinda Rajapaksa and former Speaker of the Parliament Chamal Rajapaksa also attended the rally.
Today our country faces a significant threat. You are aware that foreign conspiracies are actively working to install a puppet leader to seize control of this country. This is precisely why the increasing support for Namal Rajapaksa has become such a concern for them. I believe Namal's popularity has surged because he visited the north and boldly declared that he would never allow the division of our country. Others who were there had one story for the north and a different one in the south. When we brought electricity to the people, some mocked us, asking, "Can you eat electricity?" My response was clear. Yes, electricity illuminates our lives and fosters development in our country. I recall when the highways were being constructed, they questioned, will these roads be used merely to transport fish ambultial? But today, no one can deny the significance of those highways. Whether it's roads, highways or electricity, all of these accomplishments were for the benefit of the people and were made possible only under our government. Our goal has always been to advance this country.
රට දියුණු කරන්න අපිට උවමනාව තියෙනවා. මේ සල්ලි වලට මං හිතුවා කරන්න හැමදේම කරන්න බෑ කියලා.
I believe money alone could not achieve everything. Blinded by greed, they abandoned their responsibilities and now find themselves not only financially destitute, but more importantly, devoid of public respect. I truly feel for our people. I urge Namal Rajapaksa to enact stringent laws and deliver justice to those who have committed crimes against our country as soon as he assumes the presidency. Many of those responsible for bankrupting this country are now allied with Sajid Premadasa and Ranil Wickramasinghe.
According to the reports received the day before yesterday, there are 4 main candidates in the race. Today, the public has confirmed that Anurakumara Dissanayake occupies 4th position. The real contest is now between Sajid Premadasa and Ranil Wickramasinghe for the 2nd and 3rd places. Discerning voters choose the president of the country based on leadership, not trivial favours. As of today, 90% of the populace has already decided on their vote. A majority now believe that Namal Rajapaksa is the most qualified leader to be entrusted with the future of this nation, surpassing Anurakumara Dissanayake. I challenge those who label us thieves. If you can, prove it. We faced similar accusations during the Good Governance government. They toured the globe for our alleged stolen assets. But ultimately, the current president himself declared in parliament that there is no ill-gotten wealth belonging to the Rajapaksas anywhere in the world. We were imprisoned. Even today, Basil Rajapaksa is attending a case at the Mathura court. 2 weeks ago, I appeared in court myself. We possess strength of spirit because we have committed no wrongdoing. Following the Aragalaya, many assumed we had gone into hiding. But no, we returned to the villages and remained with our people. I remind them that I am Mahinda Rajapaksa's son, Namal Rajapaksa. We are individuals grounded in reality. So I would like to tell the people to assess Mahinda Rajapaksa today, to judge him as he was in the 1970s and to apply that same standard to Namal. The people of the Hambantota district understand this well. To those who accuse us of theft, I challenge you to approach any court in the world, in any country, file a legitimate case and stop making baseless allegations. We are prepared to face any court and demonstrate our innocence because we did not steal.
Independent presidential candidate Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca said that although the current rulers have taken loans and undertaken various projects, the people are yet to see any real benefits from them. He expressed these views while addressing a public rally in Pannala today.
All the smugglers and gamblers who once stood with Mahinda Rajapaksa are now supporting Sajid. These are the same people funding Sajid to distribute buses, laptops and medical equipment. So, I ask you, can these individuals truly put an end to corruption? Can they enforce the law against the corrupt? Can they apply the law equally to everyone? You decide for yourself. This is the harsh reality. The situation in our country today is both sad and tragic. We are buried in debt to the rest of the world. The rulers took out loans and completed one project after another, yet the people have seen no benefits. But every one of you is left to pay off that debt. The rulers have chained you to it, and every new government only adds to this mountain of debt. Understand that no matter who comes into power, they all repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
Independent presidential candidate Roshan Ranasinghe emphasized that to strengthen the country's economy, it is essential to increase the income sources of the people. He said this during a media briefing held in Nugegoda today.
1977 පස්සේ පාලනයන් තුල මේ ඉන්න සියලුම පක්ෂ
After 1977, the country descended into anarchy for 45 years due to the decisions and political activities of successive governments. All political parties share responsibility for the decline in the country's gross domestic product. They took out loans, imposed burdensome taxes on the people and sold off public assets. The power entrusted to them by the people was misused, while politicians and their parties amassed wealth. This situation must change. If power falls into the wrong hands, the country will only plunge deeper into chaos. Some leaders now say that they will step down if they can't deliver within a year and a half. But this is not a time for experiments. Roshan Ranasinghe isn't here to experiment. He is here to rebuild the country. The government should act as both a mother and father to its people. Yet today, it is the innocent people who have been forced into these roles. We cannot allow the government to conduct experiments with the lives of the people. Trust must be restored. Handouts won't lift the nation. Offering fish to the people won't solve anything. Instead, we need to provide them with fishing rods, the income source to creating their own livelihoods. Roshan Ranasinghe is committed to providing these opportunities and becoming an honest leader. That's why I've stepped up to drive economic growth for this country.
එනිසා මම බැට් එකම අතට ගත්තේ මේ රට ආර්ථික වශයෙන් වේගවත් දියුණුවක් ගෙනියන්න 6 පහරවල් ගන්න.
Presidential candidate Vijayadasa Rajapaksa has asserted that at least 200 of the current 225 MPs should go home after the upcoming parliamentary elections. He made this statement during a public rally in Ruwanwela today.
When our country was in crisis, with the people lacking food and basic necessities, how can those who abandoned their responsibilities now ask for the people's trust again? They left when they had the opportunity, and now they're going around asking for votes. Why should we give our support to those who couldn't stand firm when it mattered most? We owe them nothing. If the laws meant to address these issues are properly implemented, at least 200 of the current 225 MPs should be kept at home in the next parliamentary election. Without this change, our country cannot be rebuilt. We cannot solve our problems if we do not fill parliament with a new generation of educated individuals eager to serve. A new path has been created for a fresh group, closing the door on those who have failed us. By enforcing these laws, we can turn the hopes of the people into reality. It is possible to make the country debt-free in the future. We are currently in a transitional period where we will not pay any loans or interest for the next 2 years. It will start in January 2027. Each of us carries a burden of 1.2 million. To pull the country out of this situation, we need a leader with a clear vision.
Presidential candidate Janaka Ratnayaka explained his plan for the nation when he assumes office as president. He was speaking at a media briefing today.
Sri Lanka can be developed by reducing the disparity between the country's income and expenditure. I have all the plans required for it, such as plans for the tourism business, export and transmissions. We can only develop Sri Lanka by accepting investments into the country. No one can rebuild the country by providing relief and false hopes to the public. We have witnessed how politicians joined forces to drag the country into its rock bottom. However, I am someone who has worked in Sri Lanka's administration to provide a better service for the people of this country. I am a successful businessman. I know about the economy. Therefore, cast your vote for me and elect me as your president, as only then will Sri Lanka be able to end 75 years of politics and freshly appoint an individual who has had no involvement with politics to lead the country and solve all economic problems Sri Lanka is facing. Under my government, I pledge to stabilize the prices of 20 essential food items for 5 years, ensuring they remain constant. Additionally, I will reduce electricity and water tariffs by 30% and lower fuel prices by 150 rupees. I promise to audit the assets of all politicians currently in office. If it's determined that any assets are unjustly owned, I vow to confiscate them in the best interest of the public.
Presidential candidate for the Socialist People's Forum Nuwan Bopage criticized the manner other candidates are managing foreign pressure.
A public meeting of the Socialist People's Forum was held in Kiribati this afternoon.
When we told the people of this country that the IMF conditions will destroy their lives, that's why we need to get rid of it. When we said that we are showing a way to get rid of it, what did the other parties who claim they will win do? They started dancing on stage, parading the IMF agreement. When we told the people of Indian colonization and imperialism, through which the resources of this country will be given to India and the people of this country will lose their independence, the leaders who say that they will win started to bow down to India and bend in front of India. When we revealed about America's intentions and how it would bring about the destruction of this country, those who claim to win bowed down to Julie Chung. This capitalist economy needs to be uprooted and socialism needs to be implemented in its place. All three of those candidates have held conventions and celebrations with capitalist leaders.
From midnight to night, all election campaigns officially ends and a period of silence begins. A period in which we the people can settle into preparing to exercise our democratic right to vote. And at Newsfirst, across all our channels, we have endeavored to present fair and balanced news that represents all of the diverse opinions and aspirations of the people of Sri Lanka. And we thank you, our audience, for trusting Newsfirst not just during this election period, but over so many decades. Finally, let's always remember that while we as people will have diverse and different political views, it is up to us, the people, to remain united and to build and lead our nation regardless of who wins a political race. The power of the people is always greater than the people in power. Long live our nation, our people, and our democracy. Newsfirst, with the people.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Experience the true essence of Jaffna, all in one magnificent hotel.
Views were expressed regarding the incident in which presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa did not attend a televised political debate.
Presidential candidate Ranil Wickremesinghe expressed views on the matter in Galle today.
I tuned into Derana since I was curious to see what Sajith Premadasa was doing yesterday. He hadn't shown up. They were there. Why would I want to see Manusha? I see him every day. He wasn't there. If one cannot tell the country what they are doing, how can they expect to work effectively if they fear speaking out? We are not afraid. We have outlined in a book how feasible it is to create a better Sri Lanka. Therefore, think about your future. Don't let things revert to the past.
Tissa Attanayaka from the Samagi Janabalawegya expressed views on this matter.
දෙරණ 360 වැඩසටහනට සහභාගී වෙන්නට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා විපක්ෂ නායකවරයා වශයෙන් උත් සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමා ජනාධිපති අපේක්ෂකයා වශයෙන් උත්
Sajith Premadasa, both as the leader of the opposition and as the presidential candidate, never expressed any intention to participate in the Derana 360 program. At that time, Derana indicated that Sajith Premadasa's attendance was uncertain and we objected to this. Specifically, the Presidential Election Campaign Office had requested Derana to suspend that promotional campaign. Meanwhile, Derana has consistently created an impression that Sajith Premadasa would participate in the 360 program while simultaneously suggesting that he would not attend at the last moment. This seems to be an attempt to put him in a difficult position. We perceive this as an organized effort to undermine Sajith Premadasa. I recall that during the 2019 presidential election, This channel operated in a similar fashion, especially in how it tried to manipulate public perception. Additionally, we witnessed how the channel elevated Gotabaya Rajapaksa as a capable leader for national security after the Easter Sunday attacks. The channel, representing a presidential candidate, has a clear political agenda aimed at damaging Sajith Premadasa's character and reputation. Therefore, we categorically reject all allegations asserting that it is essential for the presidential election to be conducted independently and impartially.
නාලිකාව නගන චෝදනා සියල්ලම අපි ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා. අපි කියන්නේ ජනාධිපතිවරණයක් ස්වාධීන හා අපක්ෂපාතීව මෙහෙවීම ඉතා වැදගත්.
Former Minister Rajitha Seyanaratne also expressed his views on the matter today.
දැන් රාජපක්ෂලා ආරක්ෂා කරනද රනිල්? ඒ කාලේ කිව්වේ මොනවද? රනිල් රාජපක්ෂ. එහෙමනේ කතා කරේ.
Is Ranil protecting the Rajapaksas now? What was said back then? Ranil Rajapaksa. That's how the conversation went. It has all unraveled. Why? Namal has said in several instances that Sajith will win and Namal will step in as the opposition leader. At that time, Sajith had assurances that he would take no action against the Rajapaksas. This is something you cannot deny. Recently, the Rajapaksas and Namal Rajapaksa engaged in discussions with Sajith. What did he say? Help me. I need assistance to become president. You will become the opposition leader. This is the essence of this alliance. I am uncertain how many in the Samagi Chana Balawegya are aware of this dubious agreement. Lakshman Fonseca is aware of it. He has never participated in live programs. What did Hiru TV do? What time was it on Hiru TV? 10:45. What time was it on Banuka's watch? It's 10:15. That means it was recorded half an hour earlier. They are presenting this as if it were live. This is a deal between Hiru TV and Sajith. They had to wait an hour to perfect it. This is why it is not live. However, they are portraying it as live. They cannot engage in such agreements with Derana. Hence, they claim it's not possible. Why? Because he goes online, reads and responds to questions. However, he cannot answer live. He does not possess that level of political maturity.
Almost 557 families with no water to drink. The water they had was not clean. They trekked miles in search of clean drinking water. Every day was a struggle. Until Gammadda stepped in. The foundation stone for a new water purification system was laid by Gammadda. Now the dream of the people of Parasanga, however, in Anuradhapura is about to come true. A testament to the true spirit and resilience of the people. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
A trusted place for your fixed deposit. Valuable FD, a symbol of stability.
Brad W. Setzer, a former staff economist at the United States Department of Treasury, has raised concerns about the International Monetary Fund's debt sustainability analysis for Sri Lanka. Now, speaking at a webinar, Setzer highlighted the substantial level of public debt that Sri Lanka is expected to carry over the next decade, questioning the country's ability to manage such high debt levels.
The IMF's debt sustainability analysis for Sri Lanka allows, for better or for worse, Sri Lanka to have a rather substantial level of public debt. Public debt, so the criteria is total debt, domestic fiscal debt, external public debt combined, very high level over the next 10 years. The binding constraint was set at 95% of GDP in 2032, which is, 8 years from now. And as a consequence of that, debt to GDP at the end of the IMF program in 2028 would be well above 100% of Sri Lanka's GDP. These are quite elevated levels for any low-income, lower middle-income country, substantially higher levels than other countries that have gone through debt restructuring typically come out of a restructuring with. So the immediate question that was raised after the IMF put forward its debt sustainability analysis was more or less, why is Sri Lanka able to support this high level of public debt? What is the analytical basis for concluding that Sri Lanka can support more debt than, say, Zambia or, say, Ghana or Kenya or, for that matter, Pakistan? There wasn't a strong analytic basis to conclude that Sri Lanka could support this high level of public debt and public external debt. Why? Well, Sri Lanka actually has a relatively weak revenue base. Revenue to GDP has often been 10% of GDP or less. It's been, on average, over the last 10 years, less than 12% of GDP. Obviously, the IMF program seeks to correct that, to raise revenues to GDP. But relative to its peers, Sri Lanka's revenue-generating capacity in the past has been on the low side. And then Sri Lanka's export base also looks comparatively low, though not as low as its revenue base. Both call into question whether Sri Lanka can really support this higher level of debt.
Meanwhile, a probe has commenced into the alleged leaking of the 2024 Grade 5 scholarship examination. Commissioner General of Examinations said he will not hesitate to conduct the exam once more if satisfactory alternatives aren't provided.
The Commissioner General of Examinations says a comprehensive investigation has been launched into the incident, while 6 others, including the exam observer who allegedly leaked the question paper onto social media. Meanwhile, parents from across the island engaged in a protest today to voice their objection over the leak of the Grade 5 scholarship exam paper. Parents of students who sat for this year's exams held this demonstration opposite the Department of Examinations in Pathramulla today. Their demand was to conduct the exam once more.
අසාධාරණයක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. බලධාරීන් තීරණය කරන්න ඕනේ අවම අසාධාරණයක් වෙන විදිහට ළමයින්ට මොකද්ද කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒගොල්ලෝ විද්වත්නේ අපි වගේ නෙමෙයිනේ. අපිට වඩා ගොඩාක් දැනුගත් මිනිස්සු ඒවා ඉන්නේ. මේ අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ දැන් වෙච්ච දේවල් කොහොම වුණත් ඉදිරියට හරි දැන් මේ අපේ ළමයින්ට මේ අවුරුද්දේ වුණා. ලබන අවුරුද්දේ තව ළමයෙක්ට වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේ ක්‍රියාවලිය තමයි නිවැරදි කරන්න ඕනේ. අපි ඉදලාන්නේ මේ කාරුණික ඉල්ලන්නේ අපිට මේ විභාගය නැවත පවත්වලා දෙන්න කියන එක. එක හෙලා අපේ දෙමව්පියන් ඉල්ලීම විභාගය පවත්වන්න කියන එක.
Parents held a demonstration opposite the North Central Province Education Department today. Subsequently, the police informed protesters to disperse.
නේද අධ්‍යාපනය හොර දේශපාලනය හොර මෙහෙත් හේත් පවා හොර ආහාර පවා හොර ඉතින් මේක අධ්‍යාපනයත් හොර වුණාම අපි ළමයට අනාගතයක් නැහැ නේ.
Chairman of the Ceylon Teachers Union Priyantha Fernando arrived at the location at the time.
ලංකා ගුරු සංගමයේ දේශපාලන පක්ෂයකට සම්බන්ධ නැහැ. ස්වාධීන සමිතියක්. කියන්නේ යනකොට
Subsequently, the police intervened and allowed a letter with the parents' grievances to be delivered to the Provincial Education Director. This was a protest held opposite the Provincial Education Office in Kanti. Another protest was held at the Balangoda town today. This was what the Commission General of Examinations had to say.
We identified 3 questions that would have given certain students an advantage being discussed before the exam. I must clearly state none of those questions are identical to those on the original exam paper, but the substance would allow one to answer the question on the paper better. Therefore, it was decided to omit those questions during marking. We can go for another option apart from invalidating the entire question paper, since many children will be adversely impacted if they are to rewrite the exam. I explained that there are other avenues to ensure the credibility of the exam paper is protected.
මේ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍රයේ විශ්වාසතාවය සහ වළංගුතාව ආරක්ෂා වෙන පරිදි කියන කාරණේ මම එයාට පැහැදිලි කරා.
ඒ කියන්නේ යම් විදියකින් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම නැවත විභාගෙ තියන්න උනත් සූදානම්.
තියන්න අවශ්‍ය වුණොත් අපි තියන්න සූදානම්.
We are ready to hold it again if there is a requirement, because we know one subject was invalidated during the previous A-level exam as well. If this matter has led to the credibility, validity and fairness of this exam being compromised, we will not hesitate to conduct the exam again.
අපි විභාගයේ නැවත පැවැත්වීමට අපි පසුබට වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Lebanon's health minister said that 9 people, including a child, have been killed after handheld pagers used by members of the armed group Hezbollah to communicate exploded across Lebanon.
Iran's ambassador to Lebanon was among 2,800 other people who were wounded by the simultaneous blasts in Beirut and several other regions. Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, said the pagers belonged to employees of various Hezbollah units and institutions and confirmed the deaths of 8 fighters. The group blamed Israel for what it called, quote-unquote, this criminal aggression and vowed that it would get just retribution. The Israeli military declined to comment. Hours before the explosions, Israel's Security Cabinet said stopping Hezbollah attacks on the north of the country to allow the safe return of displaced residents was an official war goal. A senior Lebanese security source and another source told foreign media that Israel's Mossad spy agency planted explosives inside 5,000 pagers imported by Lebanese group Hezbollah months before Tuesday's detonations.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.